Hello and good day. Welcome to our policy brief on the fictional company Fast Print Shop and the potential cybersecurity threat of malware. We are Team One, also known as the Four Squares. Each animal is a representation of our personality or our favorite animal. So I'll now provide some background information on the company Fast Print Shop. Fast Print Shop is a fictional medium-sized business that is growing rapidly in the San Antonio area. They recently hired an IT manager who noticed that the company had weak security measures in place. The new IT manager decided to pitch to the company's executive board reasons Fast Print Shop should strengthen their system from malware attacks. I'll now hand it over to Donna.
So what is malware? Malware is any type of malicious software that is used to disrupt our computer operation, gather sensitive information, or gain unauthorized access to our computing systems. It can be embedded in our executive code, executable code, scripts, active content, or other intrusion software. So some types of malware would include some types of attacks, phishing and ransomware, which I'm sure you all have heard of. Those are the two most popular attacks. Phishing tricks individuals into disclosing personal information by creating a website or email that looks to be from a known organization like a bank, and it could easily steal your login information and who knows what else after that. Ransomware tends to hold a system hostage until a large ransom is paid. Next slide. So what is the malware impact? Malware attacks are absolutely vicious. They can put your business at a stop work. They can take over your operating systems like ransomware and force you to pay something in order to get it back. So they can make you lose clients. They could drive away potential clients and then make you lose millions in the process as well. So this is the reason why cyber and security is so important to this day and age. And it can't be overstated because it only takes one malicious software to bring a company to its knee. Damage to a company's reputation could also be extreme, and a lot of times you may lose a lot of clients and the financial impact of losing those clients because you allowed malware onto your system. And cyber crimes in general cost companies trillions of dollars every year, with malware being one of the leading causes of concern. The average cost to remove malware is about 2.4 million per attack, and the average time to remove that from your system is about 50 days time. So an example that is relevant to our industry for Fast Print Company recently happened in December 2021 with R.R. Donnelley. They are a very large and publicly traded printing company that had a network system intrusion. And this happened right before they were ready to close a deal on incorporating another company into what they had. So Conti Ransomware Group, they were able to access their systems. At first, R.R. Donnelley didn't even believe it until they started leaking some of the corporate information onto websites. And then they kind of backtracked and started talks on ransom. So the investigation is still ongoing. There's not too much information to be found, but based on this information, I suspect that this could be worth multi-million dollars in a cybersecurity issue with cyber loss. I'm going to hand it off to Renato. Thanks. Next slide.
Knowing the malware risks, we'd like to recommend both pre-incident and post-incident. And in developing the pre-incident, we would like to recommend to use the 5 A's methodology, which the first one is accountability. So accountability, it's about defining responsibilities, creating remote and local access controls, achieving and securing logs, as well as creating awareness and implementing policy. The second A is assurance. With the assurance, you want to test, find breaches, and report them. So measures can be taken to mitigate vulnerability and threats by improving such tools and procedures. The third one is authentication. Authentication can be done by authentication such as fingerprint, face recognition, iris reading, and voice recognition. The fourth one is authorization. We can do that through implementing a defensive architecture that will determine such level access in a methodological way. And the last one is auditing. The auditing can be done through a third party that could perform vulnerability explorations to identify them and report for prompt mitigation and correction. Next slide. Next. Go back one, Sam. So from that 5A's methodology analysis, we can drill down a little bit further, and we can build a layered defense. The layered defense consists of a first layer, which is a policy. The policy should state the basis for malware prevention efforts and implementation of prevention controls. The second layer would be the awareness. Awareness consists of training the users and all the stakeholders involved in the company that use the company systems to make them knowledgeable about the risks that are involved in having the malware entering our systems and infecting hosts, the risks that malware poses, as well as the inability of technical control to prevent all incidents. The third one is vulnerability mitigation. Vulnerability mitigation we can do through applying patches, updating software, or reconfiguring the software. The fourth one would be threat mitigation. It detects and stops malware before it can affect its target. Examples of tools that can perform threat mitigation are antivirus software, intrusion prevention systems, IPS, firewalls, content filtering inspection, and application whitelisting. The fifth one is defensive architecture. Defensive architecture basically modifies and implements systems designs that prevent and make it harder for malware to exploit and extend damage to the target. And that can be done through BIOS protection, sandboxing, browser separation, and segregation through virtualization. And the last one is insurance. Insurance provides an effective way of transferring some malware-related risks to a third party. Next. Roy?
So even with the multi-layered approach, which will reduce the frequency of malware infecting our systems, ultimately some will get through. And that is where the post-incident response becomes critical in reducing the impact financially and the reputational impact to the company. We propose a cyber incident response process of detect, analyze, contain, eradicate, recover, report, and lessons learned. What that really means is identify the malware as soon as it enters the system, perform malware data gathering to find what type of malware we're dealing with, prevent it from spreading through containment, remediate the malware artifacts, that's the portions of the systems which are affected, restore to normal operations, document the incident and make required notifications internally as well to the regulatory bodies that may need that information, as well as capture any key learnings from that incident and report it back so that we do not continue to have the same issue in the future. All these ideas in this process are supported by insurance and third parties, as well as our internal risk control, IT risk control group. Through tabletops and other various third-party reviews of the system and our processes and policies, we believe that this is a good solution for the company. Next.
To minimize cyber risk, the recommendation is that Fastprint implements all the solutions outlined in the previous slides. These solutions will really help strengthen Fast Print Shop's cyber defenses and help protect its customers from a malware attack. To implement these solutions, the following will need to be done. So one, this will need board support. In order to be effective, the board will need to take a more active and visible role in Fast Print Shop's cyber resilience. The board sets the tone of the organization's risk culture and staff expectations. We also need to establish board oversight to ensure FastPrint is meeting cybersecurity set standards. Then we need the CEO to ensure the board is well advised on cybersecurity threats and provide governance by advising and articulating the roles of cybersecurity staff. The CEO will help establish FastPrint's risk assessment and call for their direct reports to oversee cyber risk. Also, the CEO establishes and enforces the organization's cybersecurity culture. Finally, the focus needs to not only protect FastPrint, but it also is to protect its customers from the attack. Then there's protecting the connections to third-party sites and to prevent data breaches and also the company's network. Another is going to need to establish risk controls and policies for when an incident occurs. And then there's going to be the need to purchase insurance. They're going to need to procure insurance coverage to transfer that risk, as well as leverage the insurance company's support services and best practices. FastPrint will have to also invest in recruiting and retaining employees with cybersecurity skills, ultimately creating a cybersecurity team. And finally, it's establishing the cybersecurity budget. This will require funds to purchase insurance policies, train, hire, and retain cybersecurity personnel, and to also upgrade the company's software. The recommendation is that these new security measures should be introduced in 3 phases over the next 9 months. So you can have wave 1, implement the pre-incident plan and a cybersecurity team. And that can be done within 0 to 3 months. And then a wave 2, it can be implementing the control environments and the post-incident plan. And that can be between 3 to 6 months. And then the final wave, wave 3, which is implementing these new security processes. And that's more of the long term, and it can be over 9 months. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope that you really enjoyed listening into our presentation. Feel free to ask a question and comment in Blackboard. Thanks. Talk to you later.